Good morning, everybody. Again, everything's preliminary. Things are going to change as the investigation goes on. So I'm going to give you as much detail as I have right now. The person we're dealing with, the suspect is Louis Tull, Tull. Date of birth is 11/7/82. His extensive background, criminal background. He's done prison time. Charges he's been arrested for in the past have included ag assault, aggravated battery numerous times, domestic violence or strangulation, grand theft, just to name a few. I should have started this, but it's most important. So I want to thank God over the past less than 24 hours, I don't know, 12 hours, 14 hours, we've had some, this individual has been extremely violent in our community. One individual was shot in the leg. That person will be fine, that victim, but this could have been way worse. And it could have ended way worse this morning with the deputies. I also want to thank the ATF task force, which FDLE is a part of, the Dade City Police Department, which is a fantastic partner, and the city of Zephyr Hills. So it's going to get a little convoluted, and I apologize, but as I said, this is one of those things. It was definitely a crime spree out there by this suspect. So approximately 8 p.m. last night, victim one, who knows the suspect, Louis Tull, sees him. At some point, Louis Tull tries to get into victim one's vehicle. He shows, the suspect shows him his gun. A fight ensues. The suspect then flees. In a very short distance, the suspect then gets into another altercation with victim number two. He gets in there, or starts struggling again. Victim two sees the gun, they're fighting. Victim one, who knows the suspect, and just in that altercation, comes over to assist victim two. While victim one is struggling with the suspect, Louis Tull, victim one gets shot in the leg. The suspect then steals the vehicle from victim two and takes off with it. Then the suspect goes up into Dade City. He knows the person whose house he goes into. While he's in this house, some type of fight happens. Louis Tull then points his gun at the victim, so that's victim number three. He then flees that house. Canine then starts tracking up there because we got information he was up in that area. Our canine unit starts tracking. We track to a house. As we get up to the house, we knock on the door. Our deputies are speaking to the woman. She says, "Hey, my vehicle's stolen." She is actually now victim number four. During the night, we start doing reverse 911 calls. We're putting public messages out there, and we do that because we have a strong partnership with our community. One, we want to make sure they're safe. We want to give them as much information as possible so it's out there. The second reason why is our citizens give us great information. They're able to provide us tips so we can lead to an arrest. And so that's why we keep putting it out there. And there was people saying I was getting numerous calls. Well, yes, this is this incident that kept going on as the night kept going. Because of that, getting the information out there, we were able to get information this morning that came from a good citizen who's called in and said, "I saw the suspect that you guys are looking for," provided us some information that he had gotten into a Mustang. Right now, we believe that the driver of that Mustang is victim number five. He was driving that vehicle. He said that the suspect got into it, eluded, he had a gun, kept pointing in his waistband, and said, "Drive me." With that information, two of our deputies who are in separate vehicles spot this Mustang. As they're doing a traffic stop, one gets behind the vehicle, parks behind, the other one in an SUV pulls in front to box him in. Victim number five, who was the driver, jumps out because he had the suspect told the driver, keep going. He said, "No, I'm not getting in a pursuit with the police." He parks, jumps out, puts his hands up. The suspect then gets into the driver's seat. He backs up towards the deputy who's standing outside of his vehicle. He then pulls forward towards the deputy who was blocking in the front. They both shoot at the vehicle. He then goes off through the grass. He gets a short distance away. He crashes. The deputies are then chasing him. The deputies then see the gun right by him, but they actually deployed a taser on him and tase him at that moment. I give our citizens a thank you because what you did was phenomenal by providing us information, by working with us. You're not saying we fight as one, that's all of us as a community, and I thank you for that. To the deputies, that was, being in that type of situation, seeing what they saw, reacting the way they did, those are things our deputies deal with. And I can tell you, the ability to transition, that they pull the taser, and they tase them, and I talked to the one deputy, and she made a comment. She said, after the shooting, we tase him, and I saw this look in his eyes, and she goes, I will never forget that look. But then she went into and said, after we put him in handcuffs, I started checking him to make sure he was okay. And when people talk about law enforcement officers, there's that compassion there. They want to make sure that he was okay. To all the victims that were involved in this case last night, we're going to work with you. If there's anything you need, our victim advocates will be there. Our victim advocate is working with the deputies right now, but they want to work with anybody else out there in the community that needs assistance. The other part too is our family support network. Because when incidents like this occur and our deputies are involved, we know this affects the family members, and we're going to help them too. Those 2 deputies have been put on administrative leave with pay, which is standard. That is standard, that they go on administrative leave with pay. So far, the Pasco Sheriff's Office is charging the suspect with 3 counts of carjacking, 1 count of aggravated battery with a firearm, felon in possession of a firearm, 2 counts of aggravated assault on law enforcement. I know our strong partners at the Dade City Police Department have additional charges because the incident at the house and the incident with the woman with the stolen car that the canine tracked to, they happen within the city limits. So they're working those cases. So with that, is there anything, I know it's a long story, it's a convoluted story, anything I can try to answer or help you with? And I can tell you, I'm just right now, is that naming the victims or the deputies, these are victims. And so under Marcy's law, I cannot provide that information.
So the victim, in terms of the victims, there were 5 of them in total.
7.
7 of them.
Yeah, because count the 2 deputies.
To 2 deputies.
Yeah.
He only had a relationship or knew of 1 of the victims. Correct?
No, sir. He knew the first one that started it and the one who got shot in the leg.
Right.
And then he also knew the house that he went to and that one. And we're not sure about victim number 5 yet, the one in the Mustang this morning. We're not sure about that relationship.
Ultimately, what was he up to? I mean, it didn't start with him trying to commit a crime. It sounds like he just kind of got into a fight with somebody. And then for it to lead to all this, it makes you wonder what else he was up to.
And that's, we're going back now to try to figure out, was this person on drugs? Is there something else going on? It sounded like the initial was a carjacking. He said, I want you to drive me somewhere. And that's how the whole thing started. So it was a continuous series of carjackings, but to go nowhere. And so this is just a very violent individual, and that's one thing, very thankful to God that, it's horrible that somebody got shot in the leg. It's absolutely horrible. At the same time, this could have been way worse.
What was the relationship with him and victim 1? How did they know each other?
They supposedly just knew each other from the community. Not sure how, not exactly to the details yet, but they just knew each other.
Other than victim 1, was anyone else physically hurt?
Not that I'm aware of. I can imagine there's emotional scars, but not anything physical.
The guy that was shot in the leg, victim 1, how's he doing now?
I'm told he's okay.
When your deputies apprehended him, what's the location and what time did that happen?
It was probably, I don't know, you guys know.
It's right at 10 o'clock on Fort King Road.
Okay. 10 o'clock at Fort King Road.
14 Road?
Fort King.
Fort King.
Fort King, yes, sir.
Did you say the deputies shot at him when he started driving at them?
Yeah, so he's backed up towards the one deputy because they were boxing him in, and the way their angles, he started driving back towards the one deputy, and then he accelerated forward towards the other deputy.
So they both fired at him, but nobody was hit, I guess?
No.
Okay.
All right.
And in victim 2, if I have it straight,
Yeah.
was a good Samaritan who saw the fight with victim 1 and stepped in to try and help. Is that right?
Yeah, no, actually, and as I said, so the first incident happened where the suspect and victim 1 were in a fight,
Right.
and then the suspect left victim 1, went to I think it was McDonald's parking lot. Victim 2 is in this car, innocent, had no idea who anything was going on. The suspect goes in there, it was an attempted carjacking. Victim 1 sees this, comes over, and tries to intervene, and that's when he gets shot.
So he was sort of trying to help.
Yeah, the victim 1 was also a good citizen, trying to get involved and say, let me stop this.
So 3 counts of carjacking and
3 counts carjacking, 1 count ag bat with a firearm, felon in possession of a firearm, 2 counts of ag assault on law enforcement officers.
What do you make of his actions going through many communities in this county and essentially terrorizing people?
Right. It kind of goes back to yesterday at the Publix incident where it's important when we share information. You know, law enforcement officers working with ATF, Dade City, FDLE, is that the more we can share information, the more we can work together, the better off we are. These criminals know no boundaries. They don't care whose jurisdiction they're in. And so it's our job to go catch them. And so that's why I think that's critical. These criminals, it just seems like every day it's more and more brazen. More and more things are going on. And so, but the partnership with the community, and I said, we would not have been successful today had we not got the tips that we did. Those tips led to this arrest. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.